The Maryland Eastern Shore Hawks, boy, off to a really good start in MEAC play. The best start, as a matter of fact, since 1974. The Hawks are 4-0 in MEAC play. Going to be on the road on Saturday at South Carolina State. It's been a heck of a stretch for the Hawks, but they're right in this thing again, undefeated in MEAC play. And in his second season as the head men's basketball coach at Maryland Eastern Shore is Cleo Hill Jr. as he joins us right here on BOXTOROW. What's going on, Coach Hill?
Donald, Happy New Year, man. Thanks for having me on. It's been a minute. It's been a minute.
It has been a while, man. Happy New Year to you. I got to ask this first. You played Nebraska earlier in the season. You lost, but you were an assistant coach at Nebraska. Like, Nebraska's undefeated right now. Like, are you sort of surprised by that?
No, I mean, they're really good. I've stolen a couple of things from them, actually. They run some really good stuff. They have good size, great shooting, great atmosphere, great coach. I didn't expect them to be undefeated, though, but they are. Strength of schedule for us.
Yeah. No question,
Yes.
of course.
Yes.
Yeah, a former assistant. And main reason I asked you that question, because you're a former assistant at Nebraska when Nebraska had some success. Like, when we think of Nebraska, we think football. We don't think basketball. And undefeated right now and had some success while you were an assistant coach there. 4-0. That is to start the season, considering, last season was certainly tough for you, probably one of your toughest in your career. And by the way,
Yeah.
let me do this properly with the introduction. I introduced you as the Maryland Eastern Shore head men's basketball coach, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention you as the former Shaw coach, where you won a CIAA tournament championship, the former Winston-Salem State coach, where you won 2 CIAA tournament championships, and a former coach at Cheney State, where you took Cheney State 2 years to the Division II tournament, which is Cheney's unheard of. Okay, so let me get that out of the way and
Thank
make sure
you.
that's proper, right? So this 4-0 stretch, talk about it. And some of those games, the Norfolk State game was close, and some of these other games were close, but you're 4-0 in the season.
Yeah, Donald, all of the games have been close. Even, I think we beat Morgan State by 17, but that game was even close. We pulled away at the end. So these teams are really, really good. The coaches are really, really prepared. I just think we've been battle tested. Like we talked about earlier, we've seen everything. We've seen big teams. We've seen teams that press. We've seen teams that play a lot of zone, tough man-to-man. So it's just a matter of us adjusting and matching the team's energy. Like, all of these teams in our league, they play really, really hard, and we have to match that intensity. And so far, we've done a good job. But it's just 5 games on the road in a row is going to be really, really tough, and we've got the X on our back now. So we just have to be prepared for it.
No doubt about it. But it's not like it's foreign to you. You had 7 straight games on the road, so you've sort of, this season, man, and this schedule is kind of crazy, actually. But you've sort of been tested. You had 7 games on the road against some really, really tough opponents in the preseason.
Yeah, we wanted to be intentional with our schedule. Last year, scheduling, I did the scheduling, and I hadn't done scheduling in a long time. I didn't have any staff. My staff hadn't gotten here yet. They hadn't found places to live and things like that, got their families down. So I had to do a lot early on. But this year, at the end of the season, we jumped right on it. And we met as a staff about it, and we wanted to be tested early and play some teams that we thought would be ranked in the country, teams that had some good tradition of being successful. And we wanted to do it in groups of 2s. So that's why you saw Georgia Tech and Georgia, and then you saw Creighton, Nebraska, and then the Binghamton Tournament Classic with Binghamton and Canisius. So we wanted to do it like that. And we knew it would be rough mentally and physically. But again, we thought we did the job recruiting. And I gotta always give a lot of credit to VP Owens and Chancellor and President Anderson, because they said that they would change things. They said that they would get all the sports upgraded locker rooms. They said they would upgrade the weight room, and they said we'd be doing rev share and paying the players, and they did that, and that was part of the reason all 12 new guys committed to Maryland Eastern Shore, and we had 3 returners. So all of that, again, it's real early, Donald. You know, I can't jump on the soapbox and say this is the year. We just try to get better every single day, do something to get better every day.
No, very well said. And to your point about the 7-game road stretch, at Texas, at Virginia Tech, at Virginia. I mean, look, A&T is on a similar level, but you know it's very tough to play at A&T. Like, that is a gauntlet of a schedule. Cleo Hill Jr., the head men's basketball coach at Maryland Eastern Shore, in his 2nd season, he joins us right here on BOXTOROW. I got to ask you, because, of course, the HBCU, BOXTOROW HBCU All-America team comes out last year. One of your kids, Ketron Shaw, is on the team. He's no longer with you. I think of the guys that were underclassmen, 7 of those 9 guys went to different programs, including Shaw. It's like, how do you build a basketball team? But it looks like you've been able to do that. But can you talk about that? I mean, because I'm sure you were thinking this kid is going to be in the, our future, part of our future. But at the end of the day, you're 4-0 in conference play and doing much better than you did last season.
Yeah, I think part of it, and we wish Ketron well. Like, he was great for me at Winston-Salem State. So good that when I got the job, I did happen to talk to him, and I talked to his family, and they wanted to make the move to Division I now, or rather last year. But we honestly thought, my staff at Winston, that he would play that year and leave us anyway his senior year. So when I got the job, it was perfect timing, and he did a great job here for us, and he's doing a good job over there at Old Dominion. But for us, it was kind of, once we recruited the guys, now it's time to talk to the athletic director again. Can we get the entire team down for summer school and summer workouts? And again, she made it happen and got all 15 guys back for summer school. And as a Division II coach, we weren't able to have our whole team to work out in the summer. So this was my first time as a head coach. Actually, my first time, since Nebraska, which is a long time ago, that we had the team down for summer workouts. And we had not a good summer. It was a great summer of working. And for me, then and now, to get blessed with 15 guys that love the journey of work, it's gratifying to myself and my staff.
Yeah, you mentioned Ketron Shaw. He's leading ODU in scoring at in excess of 15 points a game. Before I talk personnel, I got to ask you about, last year. Like, what was last year? I mean, it had to be. I mean, look, I laid the resume out. You've won everywhere you've been, including Cheney State. You're talking about 5-6 wins last year. Like, how difficult was last year for you?
It was difficult, Donald. It was really difficult, especially my last stint of coaching at Winston-Salem State, where again the teams and the coaches were tough in the CIAA, really, really tough. But we had, myself and Coach Beckwith, and at that time Coach Wilson, we had a hold on a certain style of play and a certain recruiting style. And we were able to win 2 championships and 2 division titles out of it. So to have that and come here and not be successful in year one, it took its toll mentally on myself and my staff. But we wanted to begin to build a culture. And we didn't get our first conference win until, I think it was almost early to mid-February. but we were trying to lay the groundwork in a culture of work, a culture of togetherness, sharing the basketball, being close knit off the court. And so when we were recruiting, we had all of those things in mind. We wanted character guys, all the questions to the players, to the recruits and their coaches was about character and work ethic, and campus life. And we felt like once we get that, we could groom them into what we wanted them to be.
No doubt about it. Cleo Hill Jr., the head men's basketball coach at Maryland Eastern Shore, joining us right here on the program. So if you look at your overall stats, and now I want to talk personnel. Again, it's a difficult schedule, so you're probably in a deficit in most of those. But boy, MEAC play, you're in the positive in everything, right? Like, so Dorian Staples, Zion, is it Obania?
Obanla.
Obanla. Okay, so they lead you in scoring. Just talk about how they played, and then also Michael Teal leads you. He's your floor general.
Yeah, it's a couple of backstories on all three of them. I guess first Michael Teal. We didn't get Michael Teal until it was late May when we actually got him. He hit me on Twitter a couple of times, and I actually didn't respond because I didn't know how the transfer portal was going to work in conference. I didn't know if that was frowned upon. It's my first year, didn't know. And so as the players say, I left them on red for a long time. And then when we looked at the point guards, we had a Division II point guard, two JUCO point guards, and a high school. There's no Division I experience in our backcourt. So once we started looking a little bit more at Michael at South Carolina State, and they were very, very successful, we decided to bring him in on a visit, and it went well. It went really good with him, and met his parents, and he was really mature, was something that I like, and he was battle tested in our league. So we got Mike, and that was the late pick, and Staples was the first one. He was the first one that kind of reached out again on social. He was in the transfer portal, so we talked to him and spoke with his coach, and his coach had great things to say about him, and he was actually trying to get him back for that year. For this year, he was trying to get him back, but wasn't able to get it done. And since he had been in JUCO, we were able to get him for his last year. And Zion, I actually coached against Zion at Claflin my last year in the league in the CIAA, and he played very well against a very strong Rams team, which had the player of the year at his position. And I thought he played more than well against Jalen Austin, who I still call Goat Man. And once the transfer portal came out, I kind of watched myself and Coach Beckwith daily to see if he was actually going to get in the portal. And when he did, we spoke with his coach at Claflin, Breon, who's done a great job with him. And we got Zion down on the visit, and everything went well. And here he is. And those three guys are major in our program.
So again, as mentioned, getting ready to hit a 5-game road trip. It starts Saturday at South Carolina State. How good are the Bulldogs? What is it going to take to go into Orangeburg and defeat the Bulldogs and remain undefeated?
Actually, we'll never know on Saturday because that game has been postponed, as well as the North Carolina Central game because of the weather. It's supposed to be really, really bad. So both of those games will be canceled, but we have prepared for both of them. South Carolina State looks strong again. They're going to press for 40 minutes. They're going to be intense. They're going to be physical. They're well coached again. So it'll be a tough game, especially down there. I think they're back in school, which makes it even tougher. And of course, the Eagles of North Carolina Central, Lavelle's going to have them guys ready. My Eagles will be ready for me. They're gonna give me heck on the sidelines. I know it. A couple of my classmates said, "Cleo, we love you, but we got to go against you." So we'll be ready, and I'm sure the Eagles will be ready as well.
Yeah, and then last thought, you mentioned 12 new guys, 3 returners. We talked about Shaw and all of that, but I mean, I guess my question is, what's sort of this is your second year in Division One. Like you said, maybe you didn't know all the rules last year, know them now. Boy, you've recruited obviously great because you are where you are, and you seems like you got a real close-knit group. How has your recruiting philosophy changed, particularly in this day of the transfer portal and NIL?
Yeah, it's a little different, Donald, but it's kind of the same for me. I was one that always dealt with the transfers. You know, the CIAA, you can't get a whole bunch of young guys, man. You can't get a 12, 15 freshmen. So I've always dealt with the Division II transfer, and I've been like really successful when I was at Division II with the Division I drop down transfer. It's a host of guys, starting at Cheney with Ryan Sidney, who was Big East runner-up player of the year back in 2004, second semester. So there's a long list of Division I transfers and high-level JUCO players. So that's what I'm still going to do. And I also, feel like Division II has some good players that can play at this level. So we recruited actually 4 Division II players this year. So that's kind of how we'll do. We'll kind of, we'll look at Division I, we'll look at Division II and III, JUCO and high school. Whatever we're looking at guys that fit the program, fit the university, fit the vision that we have.
Maryland Eastern Shore, again, as Coach Hill mentioned, games have been postponed on Saturday at South Carolina State, on Monday at North Carolina Central. But so we know that for a while now, the Hawks are going to remain undefeated, 4-0 in MEAC play.
We will be undefeated for a little while longer.
Cleo Hill Jr., the head coach of Maryland Eastern Shore, joins us right here, as he has for many, many years, on BOXTOROW. Coach Hill, really appreciate the time. Continued success to you and the Hawks.
Thanks a lot, Donald. Appreciate having me on, man. Hopefully we can be on again with some bigger news to report.